haven't done one of these in an incredibly long time. For quite a while, my podcast has kind of scratched this itch of basically just getting to express my opinions publicly. So I had Gifted Punksters, and I had been in the machine, and then I didn't have been in the machine, and now I don't have Gifted Punksters. So I don't know. I just have to get my thoughts out right now while they're fresh about Aquaman. I actually saw it like a week early because of the Amazon Prime promotion thing, and it suffered for I think two reasons. One was I watched it directly for Into the Spider-Verse, which is just, if you haven't seen it, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It's, maybe we'll call it the best superhero movie ever. Maybe we'll call it the best Spider-Man, like all that stuff. And I don't agree, but I definitely think it's in the conversation. So I agree on that level. So there was that leading into it because I watched it directly beforehand. But then also with Aquaman, there was this whole thing that, like, I'm going to sound weird, but there's like a sense of ownership to that character that I've had for like a really long time. I'm actually like almost like joked up talking about it. Cause like for a long time it was a character that nobody gave a shit about. Like, yeah, it wasn't like, I mean, Batman's my favorite, Wolverine's probably my second favorite, Daredevil, Punisher, Captain America, those are probably my top five. But also in the top 10 would be Green Lantern and Aquaman. And a big part of that is just the fact that while I was growing up, there was a huge sense of ownership for those characters because they were basically rebooted when DC didn't really know what the fuck they were doing. So when I was a kid, it was like this stuff that I didn't really know Aquaman was more than just like, I knew what he looked like, I knew what his powers were. I hadn't even seen Super Friends, so I didn't know anything about like the whole thing that people make fun of him for. But I read Peter David's run, and it just resonated because it was just like, I mean, yeah, it was cool that he was like a badass, but it was also just the idea, or the ideas of just like this dude who's a superhero, but more than he's a superhero, he's a king. Like it tied together a lot of shit that I grew up loving. Like, I mean, yeah, you have the kind of the sci-fi whatever of superheroes, but then you also have the kind of Arthurian fantasy elements. So it's just something that always stuck with me. And like most people don't really, I mean, before recent times, didn't really give a shit about comics or superheroes or anything, and that was fine. And then like they did, like, the one thing that everybody fucking did was they would, like, make fun of Aquaman, which always fucking made me insane. Like, because to me, it was this character that meant so much, and people didn't even really know anything about him other than the things that, like, they were just, things they didn't even understand, because they never actually read a comic, they just thought were funny or stupid or whatever, and so therefore, like, they just made fun of him, and it just gave me a huge chip on my shoulder. And so for years, I thought about, like, I want to be a filmmaker, I want to make an Aquaman movie, that's all I want, that's full speed ahead, that's what I want. And obviously that hasn't really panned out in the way that one would hope, which I wouldn't really care, except for this. Like, now it's like, they made this movie, which on the one hand is cool, because, I mean, if you told me, I don't even know, any length of time ago, I mean, let's say when they made Blade, or Spider-Man, or whatever the fuck, if you had told me they were going to make an Aquaman movie, I mean, I don't even think that would even been something somebody would, as a joke, it seemed so fucking unlikely. And if you want to listen to what my take on it would have been, I did an episode of Men in Machine with Mills, where we did like a pitch for it. You can find that, Men in the Machine, on wherever you get your podcasts. That's only my point. So I saw the movie, as I said, and it was hard to enjoy because as much as I'm like, oh my god, I'm seeing an Aquaman movie, it's also like, oh my god, I'm seeing an Aquaman movie It's not something that I created. So it's like my whole couldn't get out of my own way, essentially. The whole time just thinking about what I would have done and how it would have differed. And so it kind of gave me a negative viewpoint on it, but I'd still wanted to see it again, and today I finally did. And I really, really liked it. I liked it way more than I expected to, even on a second viewing, enjoy it. It might have been because I was prepared to. It might have been because I was in the right mood. I don't know, but it spoke to me on a really deep level this time, where now I love it. Like, it's, of the current crop of DC movies, it's probably my favorite. It's probably my favorite DC movie that isn't Batman related. It's just, I do think that they have left themselves not a lot of road as far as further stuff goes, which obviously now they're gonna get because it made so much fucking money. I think as of yesterday or the other day, it crossed $1 billion worldwide, which, I mean, it's definitely gonna get more, but that was kind of my thing, was I was like, they kind of gave you everything, but I completely get from James Bond's perspective, like, maybe he was never going to get to do another one. Like, maybe this was the only shot he would ever have at doing Aquaman. So, like, I completely get it. But that's kind of my whole feeling after watching it, is I'm just kind of elated. Like, I'm still always going to be a little bit sad that I didn't get to make it, but the movie that I got is, I'm not going to say it, like, as best as I could have expected, because, I mean, that's, I don't know that movie honestly can exist, but the movie that I got, I'm actually really happy with, when I actually can kind of just get out of my own way and sit back and watch it. And I just wanted to get that out there, and I now don't have the ability to do that in any other way, so maybe I'll come back to this whole YouTube vlogging thing, who the fuck knows. But I just wanted to say, if you haven't seen Aquaman yet, it's definitely worth a watch. Like, it's I'm not saying it's flawless, but it's I mean, epic in the right ways, kind of cheesy in the right ways. Like, it just, I don't know. All the things I had a problem with the first time, second time, I'm all good. So, like, I would definitely recommend it. I would also recommend Spider-Verse. So, like, if you have the choice, probably Spider-Verse first, but Aquaman is definitely worth seeing, and I recommend everyone seeing it. I mean, granted, a lot of people probably have, because it's made a fucking $1 billion, but it definitely also bears seeing again, because I just saw it for the second time and liked it so much better than the first time. So, that's all I really have to say. I just want to say, it's a character that I love, and a character that I recommend checking out. Peter David's run on the character, you can find it currently on DC Universe, the app. Jeff Johns' run is also phenomenal, and that'll give you kind of an idea of the character before you walk in the theater. But James Wan, in the end, did me proud. It took me a while to get there, but I'm happy. I'm really happy right now, actually. So.